the news.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation. Making news just for you. It's April 12th here in Seoul. I'm Shin-Yoon, and you're watching News Generation. Joining me in the studio is Walter Lee.
Lovely to be here.
And Jen Kozak.
Hello, good morning.
Happy morning. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. As usual, let's start with our news feed, which covers different hashtags and news items that have been trending on social media over the past 24 hours. Our first story. Here in South Korea, one of the most popular chatting applications or mobile messenger apps is KakaoTalk. But a report on Tuesday showed that the number of people regularly using the app fell to the lowest in 22 months. As of March, there were 44.97 active users. This came down from 45.19 million in February. It's been a while since KakaoTalk relinquished its place as the most used mobile app. YouTube in December had more than 45 million users, and experts believe more people are now considering KakaoTalk to be a means of work-related communication. The uniform number 42 worn by Los Angeles Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani has been auctioned off at around $100,000. Ohtani wore this uniform on Jackie Robinson Day on April 16th, which is a big baseball event honoring MLB's first black player. On this day, all players are allowed to wear number 42 uniforms. Ohtani's uniform in particular, though, is considered a limited edition due to its scarcity. And staying on sports, French athlete Arnaud Garnier broke the rope climbing world record on Wednesday morning after climbing 100 meters above the second floor of the Eiffel Tower. The 34-year-old and two-time obstacle course world champion shocked onlookers in front of Paris's most iconic landmark. Her main objective was to beat South African Thomas van Tonder's record of ascending 90 meters for the men's record. She also smashed the previous women's record set by Dane Ida Mathilde Stainsgaard, who peaked at 26 meters. After just 18 minutes of climbing, Garnier hit 100 meters, and she told AFP that it was a dream come true. Now, here in the studio, I'd like to ask our panelists what they thought about this news story, and how do you feel whenever you see or hear about stories where athletes break their own record or world records?
Well, I think it's incredible because, you know, we think we know the limits of the human body and what the human body can do, but then people continue to break records on and on. So I think we're learning more about how much we can actually handle. So I saw this video and it's incredible. I would be way too afraid to do such a thing.
Exactly. And what was more interesting was that she was climbing up the Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel Tower, my goodness.
The iconic site of Paris. So that was interesting to see as well. What about you, Walter?
Well, first of all, I think it's a great achievement for a female in this situation because not only did she break the female record, she also broke the male record, which is very rare to see any woman do because obviously the difference in strength. And so it was really great to see her being able to break that record, and she could obviously go on further in the future. You know, when I was young, the Guinness World Record book was one of my favorite books to read because I'd love to see what people could achieve, and I was always wanting to be in the book. I don't know what I would do exactly because I don't have any talent or any patience to break records, but that's a cool title to hold, is that you have a Guinness World Record in something. So there's never say never. I could, be some sort of record one day, but
yeah, maybe your record could be the one who read them. Guinness World Book for the longest time or something.
That's a very good record.
Maybe the biggest fan of the Guinness World
Record book.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
Now, switching gears to our main discussion topic of the day now. Have you seen Cardi B's latest Buldak mukbang video? The high-profile female rapper from the States posted a video on her TikTok channel trying out the spicy instant noodle snack, which attracted over 20 million views. And it's not the first time she posted videos of her trying Korean food. Now, here in the studio, did you guys see any of her videos? And did you try any of the food, including the Buldak snack that she's tried in her TikTok video?
I think we know the answer to whether I've tried the buldak볶음면 or the buldak noodles before. If you watch the show, you've seen numerous times. I've put my life on the line for this program, and it has been not exactly fun. The carbonara is supposed to be a little less spicy, but that's not true at all because I've tasted that and it is still just as spicy. And as we've seen, I'm not really the best with spicy food, but I enjoy the little bit of spice, but this is way too much. I've even bought the sauce and tried that, and look, there I am.
There you are.
There you are, just eating that, just thinking that, it's not too bad. it's fine. And then as I progressively, go up the scale of spice, I realize what a silly idea this was, but what I do for entertainment for this program. But as for Cardi B, what is a Cardi B? No, just joking. I know who Cardi B is. I'm not that unhip yet for the show. I am the oldest though. I did watch it last night, just for the show, where she got her hands on some quote. I'll do my best Cardi B voice. Buldak, noodles. I'm actually more familiar with the TikTok creator she did it with. But yes, it was interesting to see her eat the spicy noodles.
Well, thank you for your impersonation of Cardi B, by the way.
Yeah, it was the best one.
But it was really interesting to see that such a megastar in the United States, like a female rapper like Cardi B, high profile, try out a very familiar dish to me, which is 불닭, because that's my personal soul food.
Oh, really?
Whenever I feel down, I have to have my 불닭 because it really relieves my stress. But what about you, Jem? Have you ever tried 불닭 noodles that Cardi B's tried out as well?
I have not, but you're convincing me right
really
now
nice.
that I think I should try it. And I think if I do try it, I would do it the same way that Cardi B did in the video, right? She tried the carbonara, 불닭볶음면 with a little bit of cheese, a little bit of milk, something to cool it down. I think I would. But searching through her videos, actually, this was not the first Korean food that she tried. She also had 붕어빵, so like the fish bread, tteokbokki, chicken feet. Do you know sotok? The little sausage and rice cake on a stick. I love that one. That is also one of my favorite foods. But of course, tteokbokki is my soul food. I love tteokbokki so much. As you can see here, I make it at home, I buy it instant, eat it with my kids. Every flavor of the tteokbokki rainbow, the rice cake rainbow, is my favorite. So yes, absolutely.
I can see, and as we're seeing on the screen, that's tteokbokki, spicy rice cakes in Korea. They're a popular junk food / instant food. Nowadays, we're seeing it at convenience stores as well. And along with the KWave or Hallyu, Korean food has been gaining popularity globally. But it's not just fancy traditional dishes or K cuisine like bulgogi, like meat or beef. Nowadays, we're seeing more people wanting to try out Korean-style instant food, which is why on Cardi B's videos, we didn't see the traditional Korean dishes that we are used to. We saw more instant food that's easily at reach at convenience stores. And which menus in particular do you guys think is booming in popularity these days?
Well, according to a broadcast on CNN in the US, kimchi dumplings or kimchi mandu is one of the things that was recognized as one of the best dumplings in the world. And I mean, we're up against some stiff competition. I mean, you think about Japanese or think about Chinese or Hong Kong dumplings. They are well known across the world, but they were actually, Korea basically took the took the crown, should I say, in this situation when it comes to dumplings. And I absolutely love Korean dumplings. I eat them quite often. We have about 4 or 5 different flavored bags in our freezer at the moment because my wife also enjoys it. But yes, Korean dumplings have been gaining attention all over the US food market lately. In particular, Korean dumplings have emerged as a large popular item in a retail chain known as Costco. And we've also covered on the show previously as well that frozen kimbap, which is kind of like the rice roll, that's also making it into US markets as well. So it's great to see.
Right, as you mentioned, K-dumplings, they're a little different from other cuisines around the world. For instance, Japanese-style gyoza or Central Asian mandus as well, dumplings. But Korean dumplings in general are garnering much attention in the States for being frozen too, just like frozen kimbap. Though usually we would just make it at home and eat it instantly. Nowadays, we're seeing a lot of frozen products of these two items, which is why people can conveniently try them out whenever they want to. Now, Jem, would you like to add on as to how popular Korean instant food seems to be these days and which menus in particular are garnering much attention?
Yes, well, actually, it's very funny you mentioned the frozen kimbap. A friend just sent me a photo this morning of frozen kimbap. I thought, wow, what a concept. But of course, just like with Cardi B's video, really, according to the American food magazine Bon Appetit, there was a global ramen ranking competition, and actually 불닭볶음면, or the spicy noodles, were ranked number 2. Not just the original flavor, but the 핵, or so-called nuclear version, meaning the even spicier version, is so popular. And I can absolutely understand why, because you know, so many people love a food challenge, right? And a lot of Korean products have very interesting flavors. They expand on flavors. And actually, when I visit my home in the US, you know, these noodles, Buldak noodles, are one of the most popular gifts that I bring. Things like Buldak noodles, also my friends love yakgwa, right, like a traditional cookie, and also dalgona, thanks to the series Squid Game, is still very familiar. So they love when I bring dalgona, the noodles, and also yakgwa.
And apart from that, I think, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I go to Japan, personally for me, instead of going to all the fancy restaurants, what I do is I always go to the convenience stores.
I love
Oh,
it.
convenience store foods are the best.
Exactly, and that's how I think it's a barometer of how popular that country's cuisine is, because I know that sushi tastes good and amazing, but if I go to their convenience store, I can try out their instant food and junk food, and I think Korean food is getting that much attention these days. A lot of my international friends come to Korea, and with me, they go to the convenience stores, and we try out all these different types of combinations of instant food, especially since a lot of K-pop stars share their own recipes as to making really good convenient food or junk food. Now, would you like to add on as to any more types of junk food or instant food in Korea that seems to be popular?
Well, I know that obviously with Parasite, the movie Parasite, there was the
Japaguri?
japaguri.
Yeah, japaguri. Yes.
That was made very popular as well. But if you watch any Korean TV show, especially if it's related to food, there are many sections that go into convenience stores and they show you just how they mix it up a little bit, or whether they have like a sandwich and mix it in with something else, or certain ramen and then they mix certain hot sauce with it. There's so many different combinations. Not too long ago, there was a big spike in Korean sauces, as we actually covered on this show. And we are putting sauces on just about everything these days as well. For me, I love going to the convenience stores and checking out all the junk food where I can't eat, though I can just gaze at it from afar and pretend to eat it, because I know I just can't stop. It's like Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. Which, by the way, Korea has their own great style of Pringles these days. I'm watching a lot of these on TikTok, actually.
Korean barbecue flavor is actually one of the flavors that I have seen for Pringles. So
we're seeing traditional palettes come into even our junk food.
Right.
And speaking of traditional snacks too, we mentioned, I think Jem, you were on that show as well, that a lot of Korean traditional style street food is also garnering much attention. So it's not just K-food in general. We're seeing Korean instant snacks, street food, junk food, everything grow in popularity. And we asked our viewers if they have a specific Korean instant snack that they want to try out. If you take a look at the screen, you can find out what 3 of them had to share with us. Let's start with Benny. Benny said, for me, I'd like to try rosé tteokbokki that's in a cup and then Korean porridge. My reason, curiosity would strike if you really like these types of instant foods that fit your taste buds. Dadu said, 붕어빵, because I never had a chance due to the busy schedule when I visited Korea last year. And for our viewers who don't know, 붕어빵 is a street food where it looks like a fish, but there's custard and red bean paste inside. Leon said, I would like to try the instant spicy jjajangmyeon noodles or black bean noodles, as it's a twist on the classic Korean black bean noodles, and it incorporates the popular buldak, very chicken flavor for a spicy kick. I think it will enjoy the combination of sweet and spicy flavors. And we can confidently say that the Korean palate is becoming quite global, which is why chefs around the world are analyzing the spices and ingredients used in Korean food for their own recipes. That's why we're now going to include an international chef who has been doing that for years now. Stay tuned for our live interview. We're now going to turn to a chef and organic farmer from the States who has lived in Suwon City in South Korea for 17 years now. It's Chef Ryan Phillips. Welcome, Ryan.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
All right, great to have you here, Ryan. And throughout the whole episode, we've been talking about the Korean food craze. And would you agree that Korean instant food in particular, like 불닭 noodles, frozen kimchi mandu, and kimbap is getting global attention? And when did you know for sure that Korean instant food is becoming popular around the world?
Oh, it's got to be the online presence that made it so apparent. That and I go back and spend time with friends and family every year for at least a month, and I've just seen it more and more. I'll carry things back with me in my luggage, and then I get to Dallas, Texas, and at an Asian market, they've got all of them already there, and I'm like, why did I carry this over?
So why do you think it's so popular around the world?
Well, of course, it's driven by celebrities, by the music, just the wave that we've been talking about for 17 years, but it seems to be really happening more in the last couple of years, in my opinion.
Great. As a chef in Korea, how are you trying to jump on to this trend? How should Korean food better accommodate the palates of foreigners? Yes, what kind of things are you doing to make this happen?
Well, I don't know if I'm trying to jump on any trends. I'm more of the farmer chef. You know, I'm usually going backwards rather than trying to make the next big thing. I do have a couple of ideas. I've got an idea of kind of a fried bread with using a little bit of rice flour for that chewiness, but then a different kind of filling. I know you've seen things kind of like this. If somebody's willing to pay me enough, I will sell them this idea and they can be that guy. I don't want to be the fried bread guy. I'd much rather be the organic farmer chef guy.
And as an organic farmer chef, what do you think about more foreigners turning to the instant flavors of Korean instant food then?
Let me start by saying I have had buldak볶음면, and it is intensely amazing, satisfying, delicious. I think any of you guys that have tried it, if you can handle the spice, and I love spicy, I've taken it back and shared it with friends and family back in the States. And even though it's a little hotter than most of them are used to, they love it as well. It's just, I mean, it's packed with MSG. I mean, it's going to make you feel great and make you love it. I mean, I don't judge chefs that use those kind of ingredients or go to instant stuff at all. It's not my forte, but trust me, I've been on a bender for days before, multiple times with those instant foods because they are just so satisfying.
They are, and I'm one of the many people who can't seem to be hooked off of it. But I do have to say that there's so many other organic tastes in the Korean dishes that we're trying out right now. And as a chef that's been living here for so long, if your friends or family come to Korea, are there traditional tastes that you would like to promote here in Korea?
Oh, you bet. There's so many things. I mean, the marinated crab, for starters, that's something that people have kanjang. That's something that people around the world really haven't even heard anything about, and it's just such an amazing Korean food. And although it sounds strange to a foreigner, possibly, once they taste it, I think they'd fall in love with it.
They will, they will. Thank you so much, Chef Ryan. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
My pleasure. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks,
All
Ryan.
right.
Thank you.
And we've mentioned numerous times that Korean food is booming in popularity around the world, but today we dedicated our episode in focusing on Korean instant food trends. Now, hopefully, I would like to see this trend continue to boom, but at the same time, as the chef mentioned, there is a lot of MSG. They're not the most healthy options. I mean, it's worth trying once in a while. But regardless of that, how would you guys like to see this booming Korean instant food trend go on from now?
Obviously, K-Food is the bomb. I love it. And it's, I remember growing up in like Australia, and actually Asian food was mainly represented by Chinese food.
Yeah.
Now it's great to see that Korean food is now almost overtaking Chinese food in the way of Asian style food or Oriental style food anyway. I really hope, and they kind of do it here in Korea sometimes, that they do things like jokbal, which is like pig's trotters in frozen form, and they can send it out, because that's a food that I absolutely love. And when I go to Australia, I mean, they're not really used to pig's trotters. I know that in European countries it's very quite common, but in Australian countries, I don't know about America, but the pig's trotter is not a common thing to eat. And like the question that you asked Chef before, like what would I recommend for my friends to come? That's one of them, but they can't get their head past the fact that it's a foot. And, and for some reason, I'm like, you're okay with eating every other part of the body of the pig, but what
Why
about
not
the
the feet?
foot?
Yeah.
A delicious foot.
A delicious foot.
Delicious feet.
Yeah.
And like sometimes when I introduce like one of my favorite foods is Kimbap, like I tell them, oh, by the way, this is made from like a blood sausage and it's also got pig's face parts in it. It just turns them straight off. But people out there who haven't been to Korea, you have to be more adventurous. You have to be, willing to go the extra mile and push the limits of your taste buds because Korean food is amazing.
And you've already tried that if you jumped on the Buldak noodle challenge trend as well. You've already tried pushing your palates to see how much you can attest your spiciness level. And I completely agree. Once you come to Korea, there's so many different food options out there. And hopefully today's episode gave you a few ideas on what to try next. What about you, Jen? What would you like to see this trend go for?
Well, yeah, I totally agree that K-food is the best. I mean, the best. Maybe I'm biased, but I love Korean food. However, I would love to see more traditional kind of flavors. If you've ever had bingsu, ice flakes with injeolmi powder. And I try to tell my friends, oh, well, it's a kind of sweet soybean powder. And when you say it in English, like, it doesn't really sound that delicious, right? I'm like, believe me, just try it. Things like soybean powder, the injeolmi, also black sesame. So maybe you've seen black sesame lattes or injeolmi lattes, as well as something like sweet potato. Even in the USA, it's not specifically a Korean flavor, but it is very trendy here in the winter. And I started eating sweet potatoes since I lived in Korea. So to me, it feels like part of the culture, part of the food palette, yes, a necessity actually. So I would love to introduce those kinds of things.
And looking back to our viewers' comments as well, they said they want to try rose tteokbokki. So we're seeing a lot of fusion happen here in Korea as well. And as you mentioned, Jem, sweet potato lattes or injeolmi latte. We're seeing so many different traditional ingredients and spices being mixed with modern food these days. So there's just a plethora of different options out there for you guys to try out once you're here. And then once again, hopefully today's episode really shed light to the different options you have. Now, in the meantime, we'll be here every day from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Korea time, bringing you more topics young people are talking about. Special thanks to Walter Lee.
Lovely to be here.
And Jem Kozak.
Thank you.
Right, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next week. We are
News Generation.